Hello and welcome to the latest podcast. I'm your host, JP John Paz. With me today is the former head writer for WCW and the WWF. He's, of course, a former WCW World Heavyweight Champion, Mr. Vince Russo. Vince, welcome back. How you doing?
What's going on, John? How you doing, bro?
Doing good. I feel like you've been in the headlines a lot lately. I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but you've been all over the place lately.
Bro, I swear, John, like I like to think that I like to mind my own business. Because I really do, bro. Listen, I work this is my office in my basement. I don't do conventions. I don't I'm not a fan of wrestling. And I like to think that I'm just kind of doing my own little thing in the corner of the world. John, I swear to God, what I'm interested in these days is, free agency, these big contracts, what's the baseball season going to look like? That's what I'm interested in. But I don't know what it is, bro. It's like, people that they keep coming to me, whether they want me to do an interview on a show, whether they have questions to ask me. And then when they ask me, like, I'm okay, I'll do that. Like, a Vince McMahon thing, bro, I'm not going to do that unless you pay me. Like, I have zero interest in doing that. I don't need to see myself on TV or anything like that. I am a business. If you want to pay me, okay, then we'll talk. And if the pay is right, I'll do it. So then people ask me and they want me to respond. And then when I respond, they don't like what I say and they don't agree with what I say. And all of a sudden it creates all this controversy, like what I have going on with Double J right now. I made it clear. I have zero heat with Double J. The heat is with myself. I feel that, I honestly and truly believed Jeff Jarrett was a friend. There were times, bro, when I looked at Jeff Jarrett as a brother. But what happened, John? What always happens in wrestling? The second you can know you're no longer in a position to help somebody, you never hear from them again. And so my heat is with me. Believing this guy was really my friend when, come on, bro, I'd have to be an idiot to not understand there are no friends in wrestling. Everybody uses everybody else. So, all of a sudden Jeff's firing back and this and that. And I'm like, bro, I have no heat with you. I didn't say anything negative or derogatory about you at all. My point was, very, very rarely are there true friendships in wrestling, and I'm upset at myself for believing I had a true friendship with Jeff. That's not a knock on Jeff. That's how the wrestling business is, bro. So it's like I try to sit here and mind my own business. If you ask me something, I'm going to answer it. But then all of a sudden, no matter what I say, it's always the big whirlwind. You know what I mean? So
I love Jeff. There'll be no Jeff slander on my watch. I don't. I'm a big Jarrett fan, but yeah, I know what you mean.
I got no reason to slander Jeff whatsoever. He's a wrestler, though, bro. And bro, look at his background. His father was a promoter. His grandmother before his father. It's that he's a wrestler through and through. And my point is, I should have known that. That's all.
Do you see his side of the argument, though, from
No,
the other way?
not at all.
So what he was saying was basically what you're saying, but it's flipped almost.
What did he say? Because I didn't listen to his comments, bro. Because if I listen to him, it's just going to piss me off. So what did he say?
Like it worked the other way. He like he was thinking the same thing in regards to you. Like, were you really a true friend,
bro,
or did you?
He stopped talking to me, and from what I understand, told to me by Karen. Karen told me this. His wife told me this in person. The reason Jeff has heat with you is because Dixie told him that you said that you buried him to her, to simplify it. First of all, bro, there was a history of Dixie always middling me and Jeff. She always middled me and Jeff, bro, because she feared Jeff. Jeff made Dixie feel like she knew absolutely nothing about wrestling. When it comes to wrestling, keep your mouth shut. She was very intimidated by Jeff. So every time there was a Dixie and Jeff issue, what would Dixie do, bro? She would come to Vince. And Vince would say every single time, Dixie, you got to talk to Jeff. Bro, this happened dozens of times. So now when Karen is telling me, oh, well, Dixie told him you said so-and-so about him. So I'm like, okay, let me get this straight. The woman who's been middling us 4 years now said to Jeff, supposedly my friend, that I buried him to her. You mean to tell me, John, a real friend isn't going to come to me and say, Vince, Dixie said this, that, and the other thing. Is it true? That's not what happened, John. He just stopped talking to me. He just totally cut me off based on what Dixie told him. And bro, this is after 20 years. This is after 20 years. Who does that? John, I swear to God, if Ben Hameen said to me tomorrow, Vince, John Paz said this, that, and the other thing about you. Bro, you and I have nowhere the relationship Jeff and I had, year-wise, okay? As soon as I hung up that phone with Ben, my next call is to you. Man to man, hey, John, this is what Ben told me. I'm not going to carry this around, so I'm going to ask you. Bro, he never asked me. So after 20 years of a friendship, he assumed that Dixie was telling him the truth. And because of that, he's never going to speak to me again. That's not a friend, bro. Like friends don't act that way.
Maybe he thought you stabbed him in the back, so maybe he thought you weren't a true friend. You know what I mean? If you think about it.
But John, what you just said was maybe he thought.
Right.
If you thought I stabbed you in the back, bro, then call me. Then confront me about it. Confront me. Vince, I think you stabbed me in the back, and this is why. And John, this is what the stabbing in the back is, I think. I don't even know. Bro, I don't know why I stopped talking. I'm just going on Karen. Bro, Dixie hired me as a consultant when Jeff was doing creative. She told me flat out, Vince, I don't want anybody knowing anything about this. This is between you and I. If word gets out, the gig is up. John, she's the freaking boss. I told her how ridiculous I thought that was. I said, Dixie, that's childish, if you ask me. But at the end of the day, John, it's her rules and her money. Now, if I was in a position at that time where I didn't need a job, I needed a job at that time, bro, because I had my own business and I was closing it up. So now I had this new opportunity with Dixie. I needed a job. I didn't agree with her rules, but I said, okay, man, it's your company, your rules. Now, bro, had I not needed a job at that time, I swear to God, I would have said, Dixie, no thanks. Like if I got a call from AEW today, Vince, we want you to be a consultant, but it's got to be a secret and nobody could know. I would say no to that today because I don't need a job and I don't need the money today. So I would say, no, I don't like working that way. No, I wasn't in a position to do it. So the bottom line is you got the boss of the company giving me a job as a consultant saying, if you say anything to anybody, we're done. So I said nothing to nobody, bro. Is that a stab in the back? She's the boss, bro. To this day, I don't know why she wanted to keep it a secret. I'm assuming, John, to be honest with you, which was so ridiculous to me, she didn't want the dirt sheets to know because, bro, then Russo's can. I honestly believe that was her reasoning. To this day, I don't know. I have no idea why she didn't want anybody to know. But if Jeff doesn't understand, bro, she's the boss. It's her money. It's her rules. She doesn't want me to tell anybody. I'm not going to tell anybody. I don't think I did anything wrong, bro.
Did you ever ask her, hey, can I tell Jeff, or no?
No, she said nobody. Zero, no, she goes, if this ever gets out to anybody, bro, I told nobody. No one knew that I was doing that. It didn't come out until, I made a mistake and I sent an email to the wrong guy.
Yep.
So no, absolutely not. I did not say that. We talked about it. I said, I don't agree with this. I don't think it's a good idea. If this is the way you want it, then fine. I won't tell anybody.
So will Jeff do like a call or even a show with you? I know Conrad seemed like he was kind of interested in getting you guys together. Would you do it?
I don't know how many times I have to say, bro, I will do a show with Bischoff. I will do a show with Cornette. I will do a show with Jeff. I got nothing to hide, bro. And if I did make a mistake and if I did do something wrong, bro, I'm gonna be 62 years old. I'm not gonna own up to a mistake I made 30 years ago. It's freaking. The problem is, bro, these guys are still in that same wrestling bubble. They're still in that same spot, and I'm so beyond that spot at this point in my life that's why I'm like, bro, I'm not going to play your freaking games with you. You want to have a conversation with me? Have a conversation with me. I'm not going to play this wrestling teenage bullshit with you. But at the end of the day, bro, like I said, whatever I did to piss him off, whatever I did, he, as supposedly a friend, he never confronted me. And I'm sorry, bro. That's not how friends act.
Sounds like you guys need to get together and talk about this
Bro,
and talk this through.
Bro, I'm totally fine. I don't need to get together with anybody. If he wants to get together, that's fine. I am totally fine, bro. I've got no issues with him. No ill will. There's no hatred. There's nothing like that. I'm just basically saying, after a 20+ year friendship, that's not how friends act, bro. I can't imagine somebody saying to me today, hey, Vince, did you hear what Disco said about you? And me not immediately picking up a phone and call Disco. I can't even imagine that world.
I feel like somebody's got to get you two together. I'll do it if Conrad doesn't want to do it. I'll get you guys together. I actually was talking to Jeff yesterday, so I'll gladly get you guys together for something, because I think that would be great, and maybe air out some grievances and maybe get to the bottom of things, get you guys back together.
Bro, it would not get us back together, because at this point in my life, there's nothing I could do for Jeff from a career standpoint. Therefore, he has no use for me. I mean, bro, that is the cold, harsh reality, and I'm okay with that, bro, because that's wrestling in general. That's the way it is, bro. So I'm telling you, you think today where I could do absolutely nothing for his career, we're gonna have that same relationship? No, bro. He's gonna have that relationship now with Tony Khan, because now Tony Khan is the one paying him that money. I understand that, and I'm okay with it, bro. I understand the game. Just don't BS me, man, that it's something different, because it's not. That's exactly what it is.
So just a couple of quick hitters before we get to the topic at hand today, which is a cold day in hell. Did you see Ric Flair's comments about you recently? I know he's been going off on everybody, but did you see his comments about you?
No. I
Saying that you're
told you, bro. I'm here minding my own business. I'm not in their bubble anymore, bro. I have no interest. I'm Russo's brand, bro. That's it. I got no. I don't watch the crap. I don't follow dirt sheets. I do my own thing here. But go ahead.
he's been going off on his podcast. He went off on Bischoff too, and I thought they had a good relationship now, but I guess maybe they don't. He was going off on everybody, and he was bringing up you. I'm not really sure how it came up, but he brought up you. He said, "Why does anybody pay attention to him? He's not relevant. This guy tried to bury me in the desert." I mean, he was going off on you.
Yeah. I could care less, bro. I could care. I have not one bad word to say about Ric Flair. Not freaking one, bro. People don't understand, bro. Oh, so, bro, when you're on the outside and you hear all this, people don't understand, bro. This is all bullshit. This is all created to conspire conspiracy. That's why Conrad does what he does, bro. Bro, I'll give you a perfect example, okay, bro. And I'll be honest with you, bro. At the beginning, I was really upset with Conrad because of stuff that him and Bruce Pritchard said, bro. What did I do? Didn't know Conrad from a hole in the wall. What'd I do, bro? Hey, Conrad, it's Vince Russo. You could ask him. I called him. I said, Conrad, you said this, that, and the other thing was that him and Bruce were they totally bamboozled me. And
I would think more Bruce than him, though. I would think.
Yeah, but he was stirring it. He was stirring it, and it was over JR, who I respect more than anybody I've ever worked with in the wrestling business. Anybody I ever worked with. Called him up on the phone, and we had a long talk. Bro, I had to understand that, bro, this is part of Conrad's success. And I don't blame him for doing it. This is a show. It is entertainment. I'm an entertainer. Flair's an entertainer. Eric's an entertainer. And Conrad is great at,
the puppet master.
And he's great at it, but I had to learn that. So Flair saying those comments, about me, bro, I've explained to Flair 85 billion times why we did the burying in the desert angle.
I still hate that. I still hate it.
Okay, well, because where was it going, John?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Maybe that's why you hate it. Because John, the idea was, and if you go back and you look at what was happening, the idea was, bro, one by one, I was going to find a reason to get rid of the legends. Okay? I had Sting lay down for Hulk, and you didn't see Hulk. We buried Ric Flair in a desert. I was trying to get perfect. The next Kurt Hennig, the next match you lose, you're out. Okay? Duggan was involved in it. I had heat with Roddy Piper. Macho Man went out there and cut a promo on me. The idea, bro, was one by one, I was going to get rid of all these guys and, bro, bring them back as a collective unit, as like the Avengers. All of these guys, Hennig, Savage, Piper, Hogan, Flair, all of them, because to me, the beauty of that was all of these guys now are going to get together for a main purpose, being Russo, but the dichotomy of guys never having gotten along in their career, what's that going to look like? So, John, this was explained to all of them. But these guys, and again, this is a wrestling thing. Wrestlers are so freaking paranoid, bro, that they really believed I was getting rid of them. Now, to show you how ridiculous that is, bro, my pay at WCW depended on ratings. The higher the ratings, bro, the more money I got paid. So for me to take a Hogan off TV, a Flair, a Savage, a Piper, a Henning, I'd have to be a effing moron. I am talking about the biggest ratings draws in the history of the business. So if I, as a shoot, was eliminating them from the show, well then, bro, I was hurting my own pocketbook. But because of their paranoia, they didn't believe me. They didn't believe that I was going to do what I said I was going to do. And they really believed I was trying to get rid of them. That's a wrestler's paranoia, bro. So the story has been explained to Flair for a million times. He knows the story, bro. Meanwhile, when we worked together at TNA, never an issue between the both of us. And I'm talking about years after that, we worked together. Never an issue. Bro, they do it for the controversy, man. They talk about me being. I don't do things to try to stay relevant, bro. I'm on here all the time saying, bro, I'm going to be 62. I'm not 22. I'm not 32. I know where I am in my life. I could give a shit if I'm relevant, irrelevant. It makes no difference to me. These are the guys that are constantly trying to stay in the spotlight by saying these things. And you know what, bro? I get it. They don't have anything else but wrestling. I get it. I understand it. But the sad part is, bro, you've got a whole audience out there that just buys into it. And they really think, bro, oh, yeah, bro, Ric Flair has heat with Vince Russo 24 years later because in a storyline angle, Vince had him buried in a desert. Are you freaking kidding me, bro? Like, come 24 freaking years ago. Come on, bro. John, why do you think I hate the wrestling business?
It is pretty crazy that still gets brought up, but the burying in the desert, the symbolism of the burying in the desert,
Yeah.
I think it's what does it. Another thing that came out recently, Kurt Angle said, and just you would probably know this more than anybody. He said that Brock Lesnar almost signed with TNA in the mid 2000s. Is that true? Not true? Or do you have any idea, or do you remember that at all? Did Lesnar ever come close? Because I never heard that before.
Nah, bro. I remember, bro. There was an incident where, I was writing for TNA, and I wanted to bring Sable into TNA. I wanted Sable to be kind of like an authority figure. So, bro, I called her, and a guy answered the phone, and I'm like, hey, yeah, this is Vince Russo, blah 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 from TNA. Is Rena there? So, a guy said, hold on, just a minute, blah blah blah. Puts her on the phone, and I have a long talk with her about coming into TNA. Bro, the next thing I know, I get a call from Kurt Angle. And Kurt said to me, Vince, what did you do? And I'm like, what no, Kurt, what are you talking about? What did you do? What did you say to Brock Lesnar? I'm like, what? He goes, Vince, this guy wants to kill you. You call him to speak to Rena. You don't introduce yourself to him. You don't have a conversation with him. And he says you totally disrespected him, and now he wants to kill you. I'm like, hold the phone, bro. John, I had no idea she was even dating Brock Lesnar. I had no idea if that was Brock Lesnar on the phone. I thought it was a boyfriend. I didn't know where Sable was in her personal life at that point. So that was my only knowledge with Brock Lesnar and TNA. Now, I would definitely believe if Kurt was calling me about that, then I believe Kurt might have been having discussions with him about that. Bro, I don't doubt, listen, I believe everything Kurt Angle says. Kurt Angle was one of the greatest guys, bro, that I ever worked with, man. He was just a different animal because he wasn't from the carny world. So I 1000% would believe anything Kurt Angle would say.
Just another quick hitter before we get to the topic. This came out, I guess it was last week. You said there was no hot women in WWE that were non-wrestlers, and a lot of the women were not happy with you. Because
Wait,
there are, I don't
say that again now.
non-wrestlers, like the valets. You're saying there's no hot women valets. I guess you had said it with Dr. Chris. I don't know. I guess you were just watching Raw because on SmackDown there's a bunch of them
I
that
don't watch SmackDown.
Scarlett.
I don't know who Scarlett is.
Karen Cross.
Scarlett. Yeah, Karen. I don't watch. Bro, you don't understand. I hate wrestling. I don't know how many times I have to say it. I watch Raw because Sportskeeda pays me to watch Raw. I didn't watch the Vince McMahon documentary. I was in, bro. I don't like wrestling. I hate wrestling. I don't live in that world. I don't know how many times I have to say it. The second Sportskeeda says, Vince, we're not going to do the Raw review show anymore, my days of watching any wrestling is over, done. I don't know what's so hard for people to understand that. So if there are valets on SmackDown, I apologize. I don't watch SmackDown. There are no valets on Raw. I could tell you that much.
Maxine Dupree, gorgeous. Scarlett, Zelina Vega, and then Kathy Kelly and Kayla Braxton, who are the two announcers or female backstage reporters. They had set a picture of themselves, and Samantha Irvin, the announcer. I mean, they're all obviously beautiful. They probably wouldn't be on TV or working there if they weren't, or maybe they would, but you know what I mean. Like they obviously have a good appeal for TV. They put a picture and says, "Oh, there's no good females." Bro.
So a valet and a backstage reporter are the same?
Well, you said non-wrestler, so they were counting themselves.
Bro, I just put over on the last Raw review, and I've even done it before then. I've put over how beautiful that one backstage announcer is. I don't even know her name. What's her name?
Kathy Kelly.
Kathy. Yeah, I put over how beautiful and stunning this woman.
Because she was the one that put the picture up and put bro after it. Like, obviously.
Hey, bro, that's the thing about me that I love. They call me irrelevant. These are all the people that keep me going, bro. Keep freaking talking about me, bro. I love when Jeff Jarrett's talking about me on Con. Bro, I gotta sell subscriptions. That's all that I care about. I make my money. People signing up for Russo's brand and Patreon. That's how I make my money. When Jeff talks about me on Conrad, I'm thanking Conrad for that. I'm thanking it. This girl, Kathy, thank you. Thank you for talking about me. Bro, I just got contacted, Jericho's website. Hey, Vince, you want to write for our website every week? Hey, man, if I can get that Chris Jericho rub, absolutely I'll write. Because, bro, not that I want to stay relevant. I've got to make a living until I can retire. So like I say, bro, I just say what I honestly feel, what is on my mind, and it's all these people that literally keep me relevant, and I absolutely thank them for that. But I do apologize if there are valets on SmackDown. I do apologize for that because I don't watch SmackDown. I should have been more specific. There are no valets on Raw. I could tell you that. Not one. I could tell you that.
Yeah, SmackDown has a bunch, and they're all beautiful. So, and even the announcers, they're all good looking too. So, obviously, I guess they took it to heart, obviously, but they shouldn't have. Yep. So let's talk about the topic at hand. A cold day in hell in your house, WWF number 15, May 11th, 1997, the Richfield Coliseum in Richmond Coliseum in Richmond, Virginia. The attendance 14,381. Not too bad. The pay-per-view buys 163K. Not great, but not terrible for that time period for WWF. And the tagline, there's going to be a whole lot of ass whooping going on. Kind of corny, but the Cold Day in Hell will be main evented by Undertaker and Steve Austin and have the debut of Ken Shamrock. So that's kind of the big point. Do you know where you were in May of 1997 as far as the WWF is concerned?
May of 1997. God, bro. Okay, help me with these dates again.
So you're technically, we talked about it a few weeks ago, you are a part of the committee of the creative, but it's not you alone with Vince.
Yeah, bro. When did we first see Tyson?
Months after this, like Royal Rumble
Yeah, no,
'98.
bro.
Yeah,
It was really, bro. It was, bro. Really, when I can really look at my heavily involvement, meaning that I was writing a good percentage of the show. Okay, bro. I would say from like the Survivor Series, Brett and Sean, from that point on is when I was really, really, really in knee deep. Anything before that, bro, I'm kind of in the learning mode where I would suggest something here, suggest something there. Wouldn't fight and argue, because I'm trying to find my spot. So if it's before that, that's the position I'm in at the time.
So Brett is injured. He's got a bit of a knee injury here. So he's not on the show, but they're on the free for all show. And the Hart Foundation says they have front row tickets for the Steve Austin Undertaker main event. So obviously they're teasing the Hart Foundation is going to get involved no matter if Brett is hurt or not. They're gonna be out there at ringside, furthering the Austin Bret Hart storyline, which will go on a little bit longer, and it'll go into the Canadian Stampede and further on. But it's just an interesting thing that, okay, does that hurt creative when you don't have Brett, or is it okay that he's not wrestling on the show? You don't really need to wrestle on every pay-per-view.
Bro, nobody's bigger than the business, man. And injuries are going to happen, all the time, bro. The one thing I hate, though, is when somebody, and WWE does this all the time, somebody gets injured or something and they just disappear.
Yep.
There's no rhyme, there's no reason, there's no explanation. No, bro, that, when I'm working on these shows, anybody can get hurt at any time. And I never cried, complained, or bellyached when somebody got hurt and we lost the key player, because that's part of wrestling, man.
So as far as this show is concerned, the Free for All show does have a match, and you're going to love this one. Rockabilly with the Honky Tonk Man defeated Jesse James in about 3 minutes, 30 seconds. That's just a free for all match. But I know, obviously, you're not the writer here or the head writer here. You could obviously tell because you would never, you wouldn't be into this.
No, not at all. And and the whole, Jesse James was the real Double J at that
Yeah.
point, and all that. That none of that. I'm not passing the buck. None of that was me. I thought Rockabilly was terrible. Love the Honky Tonk Man, always have, but I thought Rockabilly was terrible.
Honky Tonk Man was great. I know people could say, "Oh, he's passe" as far as like getting into the attitude and stuff, but I don't know. He's something about Honky Tonk Man. I love Honky.
He's a great performer, man.
Yeah.
He's a freaking great performer. There's no question about it.
I don't know. Somebody's talking about him recently about his camera work, like where he always found the camera.
Oh
That
yeah.
is so true. Even like he do his little gyration real quick. He just knew. You lose that factor today with so many guys, but Honky Tonk Man, like if you go and study him, like that's a guy the guys today should be watching and studying. You wouldn't think so, but you should be.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
So the pay-per-view starts with Hunter Hearst Helmsley with China defeating Flash Funk in about 10 minutes. Pretty good match, but he's doing the aristocrat gimmick. This is pre.
I hated that. I hated Flash Funk. I hated both of these characters, bro. But again, I'm just being eased into this. So I'm not in a position where I'm going to say at this point, I hate this, that, the other thing, because I would have been gone immediately like that. So, okay, bro, we got to try to, make the transformation. And as I said, I can, because bro, I'm, on Russo's brand.com right now, I'm breaking down the Attitude Era. So I'm seeing my own work, oh yeah, I wrote that. I know the promo. Okay. I'm seeing that happen from like the Survivor Series and on. So really, bro, at this point, a student.
China is with him here. I know they had tried like the Mr. Hughes experiment, like kind of like the generic, but even though I love Mr. Hughes, but kind of like the generic bodyguard guy. Do you think that China and him were a good match, or was that something he was pushing for? Like, what
Oh,
did you think about her originally?
he brought her in 100%.
Well, he was
100.
dating her, right?
Yeah,
At that
yeah,
time.
100%. Nah, bro, the first time I saw her, I mean, obviously I didn't know who she was. The first time I saw her, and it was with him, it was probably back in catering or something. I wasn't introduced to her or nothing. She immediately caught my eye because anybody that's different is going to catch my eye. I just wrote an article for Jericho's website about the it factor. First time I laid eyes on Joni Lauer, she had the it factor. I knew she had the it factor. So no, bro, she was not gonna hurt him in any way, shape, or form.
It is different, and that I feel like kind of first. I mean, he was a good wrestler, a good worker at that point, but that made him stand out more because who has a female jacked,
Yeah,
valet like that?
yeah,
Nobody really.
absolutely. And bro, he was smart. He was smart to bring her in. I give him all the credit in the world for that.
I just saw something with Freddie Prince, and he was talking about when he was part of creative with Triple H, and people were like shocked by it, but very smart political stuff and little stuff that Triple H was doing, like mentioning to like Vince about Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy ends up winning the title, and he slyly says to Vince, "Do you trust this guy?" Like meaning that like shouldn't I win the match? So Freddie Prince was like, "Oh shit!" Like that was his first taste of Triple H. Like man, this guy's really savvy politically. Like man,
Yeah,
he even little stuff like that, and that like it'll have Vince thinking like, can we trust this guy? So Freddie Prince quickly said, Jeff's the number one merchandise seller, and then
yeah.
Vince is like, oh okay, so Jeff won.
But at this point, he wasn't this guy.
Right, right.
That came later, bro. I promise you that if I saw Triple H today, I have not seen Triple H since 1999. Okay, so 24 years. I without a shadow of a doubt, I would be meeting a totally different person today, without a shadow of a doubt.
A lot of people that I know that know him now are saying that he's like Daddy Triple H. Like he's completely like matured, changed, like the political digs and stuff, and the sneakiness. He doesn't need it anymore. He's so high up that he's basically the father figure for a lot of these
Well,
guys.
I doubt that the way I see some of the people booked on Raw.
Wow. Okay. What do you mean by that?
Well, Miz, bro, just put a big bozo nose on Miz at this point.
Oh, there's definitely some guys he doesn't like.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about, bro. That's where the wrestler will never leave. That's what I'm talking about, bro. And you see it clear as day. You see it clear as day in an instance like that with the Miz, where, bro, this guy is being made to look like an absolute clown. So I don't even know the history between Miz and Triple H, but I guarantee you there is one. No doubt in my mind, bro.
So a little bit of the old Triple H is leaking into the new Triple H.
Yep. Yep.
What about quickly though, just to talk about Mandy Rose got fired
Yeah.
for doing her OnlyFans.
Yeah.
You agree? Disagree? What did you think about that?
I don't think she got fired, bro. I think they gave her an ultimatum. You need to stop doing this, or you're going, we're going to have to let you go. And I think she said, okay, fine, I'll go. I really believe that, bro. I feel like this was her own little business. This is something she wants to do. She was probably making a lot of money doing this. And it's
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, bro. Would I rather control my own destiny and make X amount of dollars, or be a slave to the system. So I guarantee you they told her she had to stop or else, and she took the or else.
I didn't see it reported anywhere else, but Cassidy Haynes is actually a good reporter. He works for bodyslam.net. He reported that she's making like in the millions
I
from
don't
her
doubt
site.
that. And bro, that's another thing, man. People want to frown upon that, bro. Bro, you know how now with all this bullshit wrestling that nobody watches anymore, what do you always hear, bro? Oh, it's an art form. It's an art form. Well, bro, maybe that's an art form to her.
Yeah.
Maybe her sexuality and her sensuality, maybe that is an art form to her. And if that's what she's wants to do, and she's not hurting anybody, and she's making bank, why would she remain a slave to this system, bro?
And it's funny, I read that they're like, "Oh, the door is always open for her return." If I was her and returning, I'd be like, "Well, this is what I'm making here. You guys got
Yeah,
to pay me way more over here."
absolutely,
Yeah.
bro. No doubt about it. I freaking applaud her, man. I
It's like
applaud.
Sasha Banks. They're supposedly she's saying that she wants more money. Well, guess what? She was in freaking Star Wars and like doing modeling and
Right.
acting. So
Yep.
hey, oh, you guys want me now? You got to pay me more money. It's kind of a mistake on
Absolutely.
their part.
Absolutely. Because bro, they're bigger than everybody. They still have that mentality, bro. But now with social media, thank God, these wrestlers have other options.
Yeah, like Mandy Rose is very popular. She's
Yeah.
got like 5 million whatever Instagram followers, so she's very popular. And obviously, she's making $1 million+ on
Bro,
her
think about it.
OnlyFans.
She
Yeah,
can now, she could do fitness
yeah,
videos,
yep,
fragrances, makeup, clothing lines. Come on, bro. Like, are you
yeah,
kidding me?
yep. And Sasha Banks, literally they just made a Star Wars figure of her. You're immortalized forever. You have a Star Wars toy, like pretty big.
Yep. Yep.
And I think she's doing
People,
cannabis and all this other stuff. Yeah.
people are smartening up, bro. There's the smart ones are smartening up.
Yeah. Hey, if they're going to go back, you better pay them more money for
Yep.
sure. Yep.
Yep.
So the next matchup, Mankind, Mick Foley defeats Rocky Maivia via technical submission in about 9 minutes. The thing is here, Mankind is kind of not passe, but obviously when we start getting rock and rolling towards the summer of '97, we start seeing a much more like diverse Mankind character.
Bro,
Here,
I hated the Mankind character. Bro,
really,
to this day, I don't understand the Mankind character. I to this day, I still don't understand it. You could have had the same crazy, demented Mick Foley. You could have the mask and the whole 9 yards. I don't know what mankind meant. I never got that, bro. I never understood it. Of course, bro, Mick Foley can be a pig farmer and he'll get over. So that character, of course, he got that over. I never understood the name Mankind. I never understood it.
do you think that with him, it's one of the things where they didn't realize the personality he had?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
what was it with that?
Vince had no clue, bro. Zero. Jr. did. Jr. knew. Vince had no clue. No clue, bro.
I know I've mentioned this to you before. That great line that JR says that Vince told him, like, "You're gonna be pretty upset when I fire this guy, huh?"
Yeah.
Like about Foley, and JR's like, "Yeah, right, not gonna happen." Like,
Yeah, I'm telling
yeah,
bro, I swear to God, it would have been it would have been a different company if JR was not there. It would have been you know what it would have looked like, bro? It would have looked like what it looks like today. That's what you would have had back then without JR.
think about it. All JR's guys, right? The guys that he brought in, Rock, Triple H, Steve Austin, obviously probably the biggest one, Foley, Ron Simmons. I mean, all these guys were Gold Dust. All these guys were at one point thought of like, oh, WCW fodder or like, oh, whatever. He saw something in each one of these guys, and and obviously later on, there's a bunch of other guys too. But those guys in that era
Yeah,
was all JR. Vince had no idea who those guys are.
absolutely. 100%, bro.
Unfortunately, Flair, for some reason, is not happy with JR either. I don't know. He was saying he
Oh,
lost all credibility by being on Dark Side of the Ring.
bro, he's working, man. He's just working, man. And I don't blame him, bro. I mean, at his age, wherever his finances are, I don't blame the guy, but it's a show, man. It's just a show.
He's got another documentary coming out about him, so that's like the third one they're putting out
Yeah. I
just
mean,
on
the
Peacock.
whole Eric Tony Khan thing. That's a show, bro. This is all show. That's all it is, bro.
I think Eric, it was going back at Flair too because Flair was going off on him. So he was saying the NWO is better than the Horsemen. Yeah, Hogan over Flair, like all this stuff going back just to get him into a nice little back and forth.
Yeah.
So the next matchup, the Nation of Domination versus Ahmed Johnson in a gauntlet match. So first he has to face Crush, and Ahmed beats Crush. Then he faces Savio. He beats Savio via DQ. Savio uses the chair to soften him up for the final match of the gauntlet. That's Farouk, aka Ron Simmons, defeating Ahmed in 13 minutes, 25 seconds. Here, though, even Ron Simmons as Farouk, it was just like,
That's
come
what
on,
I'm
this is the
saying.
former WCW champion over
Horrible,
here, the
bro.
first black champion.
He had
Yeah.
that little gimmick on, and they had him with the pretty white girl, and then the Nate. Look at the guys in the Nate. Oh my god, bro! All of this was just so bad, bro. Bro, if it wasn't Vince Russo, let's say for argument's sake, bro, it wasn't Vince Russo. Then what was it? What happened, bro? Look at what we're talking about now, and then look at where we are. What we're talking about then. Look at where we are now. Something changed in the middle. So again, bro, if it wasn't the Vince Russo influence, then tell me miraculously, what was it, bro? What was it that we went from every horrible gimmick in every match to the Attitude Era? Did that just happen miraculously? Oh, okay, bro. If that's what you want to believe it. But everything you're laying out here, every single one of these gimmicks are the absolute shits, bro.
Farouk, WCW, Ron Simmons, former first black world champion. I mean, he was the powerhouse. And then it's like he's Farouk and he's the leader of the nation.
I'm with you, bro.
Yeah. And then obviously we've joked around this before, but Crush, Savio, and Farouk together, it's just it's a weird combination that doesn't fit. It's almost like today with all the factions. None of them really fit to me. Like Judgment Day or whatever. Sometimes they just don't fit.
Right. I'm with you. That's what we're seeing today. Everything we're talking about now that happened in '97, you are seeing this same shit today.
What did you think about Ahmed Johnson at this point?
I was a big fan of Ahmed's, but he could not keep himself out of trouble, bro. He just made, I mean, I do a show with Stevie Ray every week, and him and Stevie were good friends, and so many times Stevie tried to smarten him up, and bro, I'm not a believer in, you got to play the game to some extent. You can't be ignorant to the game. You got to know what's going on. Now there's a difference between playing the game and then just, just being a-hole. You got to be smart enough to play the game. And what I mean by that is you got to know what's going on around you. You got to know who your friends are. You got to know who your enemies are. You got to know who's burying you. You got to know when they're burying you. You got to know what to say and at what time to say it. Ahmed didn't get any of that. I was a huge fan of his, bro. Still am to this day.
I feel like he was so over at one point. It was actually like crazy how over he was.
Yeah.
But maybe not so much in the back. You know what I mean? Like the fans loved him.
And also, bro, that went to his head. And that dictated how he acted in the back. You can't do that, bro. You can't do that.
Was he just like there's an instance with Jeff Jarrett and him. He's supposed to be like selling and stuff, and he just completely no sells Jeff the whole match. Was that like an issue with the boys? Like they just like, come on, man. Like what is with this guy? He's just doing whatever he wants.
I just don't think he knew any better, bro. I really don't. I just don't think he knew any better, man. He was always good to me, bro. I was always good to him, but a lot of the boys had issues with him.
And he's one of those guys too. Like, and I know Jeff is smaller than him. Obviously, he's huge. It's not one of those guys like, oh, he's not selling. I'm going to make him sell. He's just not going to sell, and it's going to look like pure shit. It's going to look terrible.
Right.
Yeah. It's. I guess the agents would have to really get with him, like, Ahmed, like, what are you doing out there? You just ruined the whole segment.
Oh yeah, and that happened. I'm sure that happened. Yeah.
The only good thing is with having Ron Simmons go up against him, it's probably like, all right, now we got somebody that might be able to make him sell if he's not going to sell,
Yeah,
necessarily.
yeah.
So the next matchup, Ken Shamrock, the UFC or former at this point UFC heavyweight champion, defeats Vader in a no holds barred match. Goes 13 minutes 20 seconds. This is excellent. What did you think about bringing Ken in?
Oh man, bro, I swear to God. I know Ken was a wrestler first, and then he did UFC, and then he came back to bro. I say it to this day. To me, nobody was more believable in the ring than Ken Shamrock in everything he did, bro. Offense, defense, everything he did. Intensity. He was the most he just got it, bro. Everything looked snug, everything looked tight. It never looked like fake phony wrestling. The intensity level he had, man, this guy was he picked it up, bro, so freaking quickly, man. Well, he was tremendous, absolutely tremendous.
With him, I actually just talked to him, interviewed him not that long ago, and I was talking about this match with Vader, and he was saying that a lot of the guys were like in the back were saying, "Oh man, you guys were taking some liberties with each other," but he was saying he didn't want it to look fake or phony. He didn't want it to look. So he told Vader. I mean, they had an understanding, like, "Hey,
Yeah,
you hit
yeah,
me hard, I'm going to hit you hard." It
yeah,
wasn't like, "Oh, they were being stiff
yeah,
and they hurt
no,
each other." They
yeah.
knew what they were doing.
Bro, like I said, man, I've never seen one single Ken Shamrock match where there was one thing that looked soft. Forget about the match. I don't think Ken would have stood for it because again, bro, here's what Ken's thinking. If my moniker is the world's most dangerous man, I gotta look like the world's most dangerous man. That's what he's thinking. And bro, to his credit, he did. Like he absolutely did. And again, bro, with his push and this and that, that was all office. That was all contractual. That was all that bullshit, bro, that I was just not privy to.
So at this point, UFC did not pay well. Obviously, WWF paid him better. That's why he did it. He wanted to, like any smart business guy, he wants to be able to make more money. Is that a JR thing bringing him in? Because I can't see Vince knowing
Oh
anything
yeah,
about UFC at that point,
absolutely, absolutely.
right? Because Vince doesn't know UFC. He probably
No,
still doesn't really know. I know he was at a UFC show and he went because he's friendly with Dana White, but he doesn't seem like he's
no.
into UFC at all.
Bro, Vince is into the WWE. That's it.
Do you think
Period.
Shamrock should have been world champion?
Definitely could have been, no doubt, no doubt. But again, bro, it was contractual. I mean, it was whatever was going on, money wise and contract wise. No doubt, he could have been world champion. He was world champion at TNA when I was there, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
First champion. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yep. Eventually, he leaves, obviously, to go to Japan and do some mixed martial arts again. And obviously, they paid a shit ton of money. Then he
Yeah.
went back to the UFC, made a ton of money, and then did some wrestling. But yeah, it's one of those things when he first got brought in, it's like, wow, this is interesting. Like, you guys brought in a legit champion, UFC
Yeah.
guy, and Vader's his first opponent. It's like, and he beat Vader. So it's like, wow, it's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
So then the main event of the evening, The Undertaker, the WWF World Heavyweight Champion, defeats Stone Cold Steve Austin in a match that goes a little bit over 20 minutes. The finish comes when the Hart Foundation, who, like I said before, at ringside said they were gonna get involved. They do, and they kind of distract Austin and cost him the match. Do you think that with Undertaker beating Austin here, is that just a way to keep Austin strong, but also give Undertaker the win? Because it's kind of a babyface versus babyface matchup
Yeah.
going on here.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to know because I don't remember. So they distracted him. So what was Undertaker's demeanor towards the Hart Foundation after the match? Was there any aftermath after the match?
Well, basically, Austin beats up Brett, and kind of Undertaker kind of like goes off in his own thing, but he was not really liking the Hart Foundation either. It was like they were both against them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 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 No, definitely to protect both guys. And I think that finish does.
With that, do you think it makes Undertaker look weak at all, though? That he kind of needed help to beat Austin, or that not really?
Nah,
Because
not
it's not
really.
on purpose, obviously.
Yeah, bro, that character is so strong. There's nobody in the world that's going to think that character needs help. So, nah, I don't think that hurt him at all. At all.
Do you think Austin should have won the title at this point in '97, or was it too soon?
Probably a little too soon. Yeah.
When he's rock and rolling are you guys? Because obviously the WrestleMania 13 happened a few months before this, but the double turn, Brett turns heel, Austin turns babyface. Are you guys seeing the momentum like completely change in his favor? Like, you seeing like hey, this guy's more popular than Undertaker?
I think, bro, we're going with it. You know what I mean? I don't think the mind is made up. Okay, bro, on this and this date, this is it. I think we're just kind of organically going with the momentum. Something you never see in wrestling anymore, bro.
So basically, after Undertaker wins, it's almost like Undertaker takes Pillman and Neidhart and kind of goes this way, and Brett and Austin are left together, and Brett's on the wheelchair, and Austin beats him up. So he ends up looking good in the end, and he takes one of Brett's crutches and he chases away the Hart Foundation. So
Yeah.
it's like he ends up looking
Yeah.
good in the end, even though he lost.
And it's always, bro, I say this all the time with a wrestling show, and that's why the ending of every wrestling show is so important. They're going to remember the last thing they see. It could be a 3-hour card. They're going to remember the last thing they see. So that's why that's important.
So that's the way they end the show. There is a dark match afterwards, which they always did within your house, I guess, to give people there some more time. LOD, Hawk and Animal defeated Owen Hart and the British Bulldog by DQ. So the Bulldog and Owen retained their tag team championship. Like we always mention, it's kind of weird to do another match after the main event.
Yeah, yeah. But, just want to give people a money's worth. And that's a pretty good match to give them to. I mean, I feel sorry for the performers. They're never going to be able to follow what they just saw, but that's good for the house.
All right, so let's hit the plugs here. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Two Man Power Trip. Check out the website, tmptempire.com. Vince, what do you got?
Right there, bro. Russo'sBrand.com, channelattitude.com, or patreon.com/Russo TWC.
All right, Vince, are we headed in the right direction here after a cold day in hell?
Yeah, I think so. I think so, bro. I think we're on our way with Austin. Just got to keep riding the momentum. That's it.
All right, Vince, thank you so much for all the time. Thank you, everybody out there, for listening. See you right back here next week for another podcast. We'll see you next week, folks.